Hello, hello, welcome. Happy full moon in Pisces and partial lunar eclipse. This full moon is going to be happening just a couple of hours from when I'm recording this. If you're on my email list, getting an email about this video, that'll probably happen right when we're in the eclipse. If you're not on my email list, grab the link in the comments for your North Node Soul Mission Guide. Welcome. So let's talk about the Pisces Virgo polarity here, which is what this full moon is highlighting. Every full moon is a moment of release. It's a moment of energetic harvest, clearing, things coming to completion, whatever is not continuing to serve or meet your current energy being let go. And the house and the signs that it falls in will tell you the story of what this is about, what this looks like. With Pisces and Virgo, we've got the full moon happening in Pisces, which is ruled by Neptune, the sign of spirit, of love, of connection to all that is, of the formless, boundaryless, void of being, without boundaries, without separation, pure love, pure connection, pure creativity, pure connection to that life force, source energy. This is Pisces energy, very floaty, very dreamy, very deep. This full moon is also in a conjunction with Neptune. Neptune rules Pisces and brings all that deep, spiritually connected energy. So this full moon, and we'll talk in just a moment about what it's about and what's happening with it, but you may be feeling the Neptune Pisces effects very strongly. I know that I am. I'm also on my Neptune line, my Neptune astrocartography line, but that's another topic. But Pisces full moon in a conjunction with Neptune is like a full blast, but that's too strong a word because it's very balmy, very soft, very gentle, but a powerful pouring in and pouring through you of that deep, connected, spiritually sourced energy. So this is where the full moon is happening, and the polarity here is the sign of Virgo. So the sun is across the zodiac in Virgo, and Virgo is where we take all that energy and we put it into form, where we organize it, where we clarify, where we build, where we create in a very practical, structured, connected to the real world around us kind of way. So this full moon lighting up the axis between Pisces and Virgo and being filled with all the energy of Neptune, along with a couple more interesting transits to it that we're going to talk about. This full moon is very much about the connection to that source energy and how you bring it into practical form. So when there is all this beautiful, powerful, dreamy, connected energy that you are one with and feeling and a part of, how do you bring that into your day-to-day existence? How do you create? How do you create in structures that are clear and helpful and of service to the world? Service is a big piece of the Virgo energy. How do you bring this in a way that makes sense, that organizes, that clarifies? And this bringing into form is what allows that energy to come through, right? It's what this human experience is about. So what I would love to invite you into in this full moon release first is dropping into that connection that you are to source energy, to all the energy of the universe, to the energy of creation. The way that energy fills you and flows through you is unique, is powerful, is yours, and it's asking to come more clearly into form in specific ways. And what does that look like? Well, that looks like you. That looks like the work, the unique service, the very particular gifts that you are bringing. So first thing about this full moon, what wants to release, what wants to be let go, what wants to drop off, be dropped by the side of the way. There's a lot of release built into this particular full moon. What wants to be dropped and released so that the energy that you are no doubt already feeling can pour through even more strongly and into very clear, specific, practical form. What does that look like? And whether your mind knows it or not yet at this moment, a part of you knows, and I'll invite you to meet and connect with that part of you now. That said, Mercury has just moved out of his shadow period. Before and after Mercury is direct, he will recover the ground that he covers in his retrograde. And so we've just come out of what's called the shadow of Mercury's retrograde. So there may be a new clarity to your mind that's coming through about what all this looks like, about how the energy wants to come through, about what wants to come through you and in what unique ways. So I'm going to invite you with this full moon, if this resonates for you, to perhaps create a ritual for yourself around what wants to release and what are you now aware of? What clarity has come through probably over like the last 2.5 months? What is more clear now that is wanting to come through you? So that's the first thing about this full moon. It is happening in a sextile with Uranus and another sextile with Pluto. So this is a lot of very deep and big change from two very different kinds of energy. Uranus brings change that is sudden, fast, unexpected, pivoting, lightning bolts out of the blue, taking you in a completely new direction, those unexpected downloads of all the energy. That energy is working in a powerful, productive sextile with this full moon. But so is the energy of Pluto. Pluto also brings change and transformation, but in a very slow, deep, down to the bone kind of way. So you have these powerful energies of two kinds of very different but very powerful change working in harmony with a release of clarity around how this divine energy wants to come through you and how your connection to source wants to pour through you into very practical, specific, organized, clear ways in the world. There's another transit going on at the same time, which is Venus in an opposition with Chiron. Venus rules our heart center, how we give and receive love. Venus also rules our relationship to money because money is also a way that we give and receive. And so what's up with the way we relate to money will be described and clarified by what your Venus is doing in your natal chart and currently in any given moment. So right now, Venus is in an opposition with Chiron, which is about the very deep change places that are ready to be something new, like those places where maybe you've carried a wounded part for so long and it's ready to go. Chiron is like, okay, let's drop that by the wayside. We don't need to be ruled by the wounded parts any longer. So this idea of moving out of the old woundedness, like you don't need to carry that anymore. That idea is in a little bit of a standoff with Venus, the heart center. So this will look different based on how it's reflected by your natal chart, but there is likely some kind of interesting meetup between the heart center and, we might say, like old wounded places or old triggered places. Where is your heart center meeting? Or perhaps your relationship with money, where is that meeting? Like some old triggers that just aren't you anymore. Like this can go now. And this full moon is a release of that. This full moon is an opening, an opportunity to allow the connection that you truly are to source energy to pour through and to fine tune the details and the nuances and the clarity of what that looks like, how you're being in the world, how you are showing up, what you're creating, to get the details and to allow the details to come from that source energy. This connection is what this full moon eclipse is about. And whatever might be in the way of that, old beliefs, old habits, old patterns, are likely coming up to be released and cleared and evaporated during this full moon. So if there is something that is coming forward for you that feels like ugh, that feels sticky, that feels uncomfortable, my invitation is to allow yourself to feel it, to be present to it, because that is how part of how we release is with the allowing of the energy to just be there without judgment. And with this full moon, I'll invite you to set the intention to release, clear, and evaporate whatever is in the way of that full energy pouring through you very clearly in very specific, grounded, practical ways. You're here to be the full expression of who you are as the divine being in human form. This full moon is like a clearing the way through of whatever little nooks and crannies might be just kind of hitched up just a bit and are ready to be swept out, cleared, released. I would love to hear how this full moon is impacting you. If you want to leave me a note in the comments, let me know what you are feeling and how it's landing in your experience. And I'll invite you to release, evaporate, and choose to be done with whatever's no longer serving you, allowing that divine energy to pour even more through. Let me know how this lands for you. Please like and subscribe if this has been helpful, and I will see you soon. Take great care.